What is Soul Store according to you?
So when we were first a website only company for the first like 6-7 years, right? And you had to tell someone Soul Store, but then you had to say it's not SOLD, it's SOULED, so it's SOLED store. I think along the way, even when it was a small business, I thought this is beyond my wildest dreams. So I was always happy that way.
This generation especially is a generation which is questioning everything which is status quo. I guess this is a nudge which is needed for India to really awaken and move much more quicker than what it is moving today.
When you sell on hype, then one day that hype will go, and I get very scared of that. So you have no idea how much I push my teams to not do it.
It's in my genes, or it's in our genes. Is kind of
no pun intended.
Pun intended rather. Is our effort to kind of bring India's finest on the platform. Building for India and building India has always been challenging, but a very, very enriching experience. Today we have with us entrepreneur who has built an amazing proposition for young India. Like Spykar, and we both share the aspiration of building a great brand as far as India is concerned. So let's welcome Vedang Patel from the Soul Store. We both have built amazing businesses and we both share a similar passion for building for India. So Vedang, thank you for being here, and it's absolutely a pleasure to kind of have this chat with you. I want to start with a very basic question. I mean, what is Soul Store according to you? So what about it is so connected to Vedang?
Thank you so much, firstly, for having me here. I think, firstly, the brand embodies the founders pretty much in how it's lighthearted, it's fun, casual, not serious. We do good for society. It's something that we've always wanted to do. And at the same time, I think it's understated, which is also us. I think that's how I would say the brand is the founders.
So why the name Soul Store? I mean, is there something buried inside the name?
So I just want whoever's watching this to name their companies better than us. Like I started this with my colleagues, like people who I worked with, and we decided we're going to quit our jobs and follow our soul. We didn't enjoy it. We didn't enjoy our jobs as much. And hence we decided to call it the Soul Store. It's a really bad name from a few perspectives. It's not easy to pronounce it. So when we were first a website only company for the first like 6-7 years, right? And you had to tell someone Soul Store, but then you had to say it's not SOLD, it's SOULED, so it's SOLED store. It's a pretty bad name actually that way. And there's a the also. TheSoulStore.com.
Yeah. But I think it's got its own unique identity, honestly speaking.
Yeah, now it's a strength.
Yeah.
Because it also doesn't limit us to any specific industry, we can sell anything. It's the Soul Store, something that's just there for everyone.
And I'll just probably a small anecdote that I kind of just remembered. The day I was supposed to join Spykar, the co-promoter of mine, Prasad, my first condition was I will not do any business where the brand name is Spykar. It's got to be something else. And so he promised me कि तुम आ जाओ कर लेंगे हम लोग शुरू तो करते हैं. And then it grew on me as well as much. And today I really can't think of a name which is other than Spykar. So I guess finally what's there in a name. And you really made a great mark for yourself and for your team also with this name. So I guess finally what happens for the good.
Why the name Spykar?
The Spykar name actually came from our aspiration of doing something with respect to footwear and jeans. Okay. So we wanted to do sports footwear as well. And when we started the brand, there used to be a combo where a person would wear a pair of jeans with footwear, which is sports footwear with Velcro closures. And so Prasad Paprekar, who was the co-founder and the original founder of Spykar, he also felt that he wanted a name which can go well with both the categories, And our company earlier used to be called Span Apparels. So I guess the SP came from there.
Yeah.
And I always tease Prasad Bhai because he's a Maharashtrian. The KAR came from there. So Spykar. But yeah, I mean, it's got nothing to do with any meaning. It's just a random name. It's a coined term. But I guess it's grown in stature and also in terms of how people love it. And
Yeah, it's a household name now.
It is. It is. And it's been a journey for us also. And, I'm sure you also traverse now, how many years into Soul Store?
12.
12 years.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself from what you were earlier and now? What's changed with Vedang in this journey?
I mean, a lot has changed. A lot hasn't changed. I think what hasn't changed is I'm always excited to get up and go to work. I mean, that's still the thing, 12 years down the line. I'm still very grateful and happier than ever for what we have done, what we've achieved. I think along the way, even when it was a small business, I thought this is beyond my wildest dreams. So I was always happy that way. I think what has changed is it's become a much bigger, become more complex than I thought. Selling t-shirts online from your cupboard was easy. Now, I think as a CEO, one of your biggest time drains is HR management of some sort, right? Because I don't think I do any of the work. I make decisions, but I don't do work. So what does most of your work really look like? I think it is managing people, pointing them in the right direction, explaining to them why the direction is right, sometimes motivating them. So that's changed. Before I used to love doing a lot of it. Even if it was just packing the orders, I'm a person who loves doing good work. This whole HR angle of, when I mean HR, you get what I mean. It's not exactly.
Of course. Yeah. So human beings are complex.
Too complex.
And in a complex business like ours, you add a lot more complexity when it's all about the human beings. So I do understand that. But I guess you will be happy where you are. I mean, obviously, when you started off, you wouldn't have thought of being where you today are. What was your initial thought? I mean, what was it that you would have been satisfied with to have accomplished at that point of time?
I was always satisfied. I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect much from. It's a very basic idea, right? I remember this because there was a solid thought back then. I thought I'd made it. We used to do about, I think, about 50,000 rupees a day in revenue or so, which was unreal amounts to me. And I did the math and I thought that each of the founders can take home about some money a day. And I was like, this is enough. Life is done and set. And since I think from that day till now, I've always thought whatever it is personally more than enough and in ambition. But then your goalpost keeps changing of what gives you joy and fun. So now the joy is in the creation, not really in any monetary aspect of things.
True. And I guess that's a very decent and a very nice thought to have, because it kind of draws a line between being greedy and being satisfied in a way.
Yeah, I think greed can be sometimes very powerful. I think it helps drive people much more. So sometimes that's a good thing. I don't think greed is a bad thing. So I don't want to demonize that. I feel though, I'm definitely satisfied in life, but I'm greedy to do more and see more and accomplish more.
Can you just talk about a little bit of your earlier life? I mean, life before Soul Store. What were you doing, and how did you end up doing Soul Store?
I was a mechanical engineer. Did right here my mechanical engineering SPC. Great days, Then did 2 years in finance where I met my co-founders. I was good with numbers, but didn't enjoy it. I actually found it pretty. Like, why are people making a big deal out of simple arithmetic? In a way, like just with new jargons. So I was like, ye to nahi karna hai. And then we decided that we'll start a business of our own because we're working so hard, and maybe we might as well work hard for ourselves. And then in that, what business to start? I think when like naive 22, 23-year-olds go around, you come up with the most ridiculous things, then realize that none of this either I can't afford to start this, or it's not going to make sense, or something like that. And I think the most simplest and easiest thing to just start was to buy that, 200 t-shirts roughly. That's what we bought. Over 150 eventually came, and just like start a website and start selling. So low investment, low skill needed, just start. And I think the timing was very perfect. We started 2013. And why that timing is perfect is because if you started earlier, no one was buying stuff online. And if you started late, a lot of people would have already been there. That was just the very good 2-3 years where competition wasn't there, but the ecosystem was just developing.
So Vedang, you have been talking about this, but you are not alluded yet to the core of your business, which is creating memories and treasures for fandoms.
Yeah.
Right? So it could have been just another t-shirt.
No, but that's not who we are. So I'm like the founders, we're pop culture nerds. You come to my home today,
Okay.
and I hope you do actually. I'll call you for dinner. We're not too far. You'll think you've come into a 13-year-old's home. Like I have a huge Lego right in the center that is a WIP since like now 6-8 months. It's very big. Then you like my showcase, I don't have any like historical figure. It's all like a Batman statue, Iron Man, my helmets, I go racing sometimes. And like everything that is boyish. PlayStation controllers are like lying around everywhere. It's as we are very pop culture in our DNA.
And I guess that's probably the secret behind your success as well, because you really live that life.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of people, when we started, it was the same boat for a few people, but it's very important to understand what fans resonate with. And most people don't understand this. I think internationally, brands don't understand this. Like if they're like, okay, we need to sell Harry Potter, they'll take a Gryffindor logo, put it on a t-shirt and be like, now buy. But fans are more deeper, and understanding that nuance is, I think, our strength.
So today, Vedang, you have probably you're a supermarket for all IPs probably which exist practically in this world as far as comics are concerned or characters are concerned. Do you repent or regret the fact that there are no characters from India which are really iconic?
No, do I repent? No, not as much. Do I regret it? So two parts here. One, we really try to push India first as much as can be. We just spoke about that.
Yeah.
And our we have ISRO, something that, and we it's really interesting to see that people buy it, but not as much, and now we've started going a lot of Indian traditional art into our very modern young streetwear. So that's actually the largest growing part of our business. So we've taken Warli prints, and we've taken stuff from even Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, and a lot to do with our roots, and we're putting that onto products, and I think that's doing really well. So I love that. The regret is definitely there. I think it's two parts. One is that India doesn't have a culture of building long-lasting IPs. We like how Star Wars would be there, right, from the 70s to even today. I think that's one issue. I think the second issue is when we do have IPs, we don't have a culture of bringing that authentic merch, etc., etc. I'll give you an example. When we worked with the IPL teams, but the IPL teams wanted fakes to be sold.
Okay.
Even though there was originals available, because they want the stadium to be their team color, blue, yellow, green, whatever it is. So they encourage the fakes, and hence that because you encourage fakes, then everyone kind of has it. Then true fans don't have it. Or rather, the true fans then feel like if everyone has it, then why should I have it? So I think that culture doesn't build for that reason. I've never thought about this, but I think when you ask the question,
sometimes I've been thinking about it, that especially when we look at IPs which are international, and you just mentioned about IPL, and so in a way it also is something which we can compare with the EPL.
Correct.
And an IPL calendar is 45 days, versus an EPL which is nearly 8 months.
Yeah.
And through the whole year, there is so much which happens on an EPL. Whereas an IPL is kind of, you have a 3 month window at the best where you need to do everything. And for the next 9 months, you don't hear about the IPL at all. So I just feel that, I also feel that IP owners in India really haven't pushed that button yet, because they haven't infused life into that IP.
Correct.
And an IP cannot exist or be celebrated when it's just meant for few days, few months, or a year or two.
Yeah.
So which internationally is like, it's a tried and tested one, and they build on it so much, and there's so much of effort and thought which goes in creating that IP. So I feel that's one area which I feel India could have done much better. Especially we have amazing iconic characters around us. A lot could have been done, but I still feel that, I mean, there's a lot of hope, and a business like yours which kind of celebrates IPs would be a great showcase for many other businesses or IPs which can come out of India. So I guess there's now that hope which I see happening and
Yeah, let's
existing.
hope.
Yeah.
So we celebrate IPs, we don't create IPs, but maybe that will change someday. Who knows?
Yeah, even I hope so.
Yeah.
So how much of your engineering and your stint in finance
A lot.
has helped?
I think a lot. So people think like if I learn X, I won't know Y. But actually the ability to learn, the ability to apply yourself, versatility, those are skills that build over time. And I think that's a lot of what engineering and finance helped. Finance actually even helped me just understand basic cash movements in business. Like when we bootstrapped for 5.5 years. And I think just knowing that if I sell faster than I have to pay my supplier, I have almost unlimited cash in a way, right? Or rather, they are the ones funding my business. I think just like some of those basic understandings have helped a lot. But I would just always say it's curiosity and ability to learn, which will make, I think, good founders and great founders.
So today, if you have to list down a few challenges for you, what would they be? And if there are more than one in the
I don't think our
hierarchy.
challenges would be that different, right? Like we were discussing, like what definitely relevance is something that keeps me awake at night, because sometimes brands are cool and then the next day they're not cool, and it's very hazy. There's no science really to this, at least none that I know of. Because what shapes people's opinions is who knows, right? Right now, it's social media, your peer set, influencers. I don't think it's celebs as much. So that's one of the things. I don't know. Do you think about this as well?
So relevancy obviously is very critical, and so.
But how do you tackle it, right?
So actually, that was my question to you: that how are you mitigating that issue within your own organization?
So mitigating the issue, I think, is we don't think about what is like the new cool thing. That's something that we never want to be the cool kid on the block. I think if you're the cool kid on the block, then like people will grow out of you. We want to just be like your Shiv Sagar. We just want to be there, which is just like
it's eternal.
I would still go there, right? Like it's not like I'll ever grow out of it.
Absolutely.
So we want to be something like that. And I think Uniqlo does that also really well if you're going in our own industry. But what happens is when you sell on hype, then one day that hype will go, and I get very scared of that. So you have no idea how much I push my teams to not do it. Like for example, when we launch a new store, and there is a crowd, I tell them, listen, don't show the lines outside and all, because one day people will come and they will not see a line, right? Like say the 5th day after launch, then what will people think? Ki yaar, Soul Store pehle cool tha, abhi band ho gaya, kya ho raha hai? So it's very hard to hold people back on this, because how do you explain it?
So you put that question to me also. I feel that now this is my 32nd or 33rd year of the brand.
It's amazing.
And we still are relevant to our audiences. I feel that, the promise that we make to our audiences should be fulfilled. And what promise Spykar has made is to stay relevant to jeanswear. And within jeanswear, whatever and whichever way the worlds are moving, we need to move in that direction. So a customer, when they want to buy a particular style which is prevalent in the world, should be available with Spykar, and we cannot be found wanting on that. So I feel if I can fulfill that limited promise that I made and not make it more broader in that sense, and the minute I get more broader, I might probably fail in a few. So I feel that stay very conscious to what you are good at.
Yeah.
Just stay ensured that what is your core is still relevant in terms of the wardrobe in our case, and you are out there when the customer wants you. So I think just by doing this very basic, very elementary stuff, a lot of it is kind of put into practice
It's
and
kind of taken
achieve.
care of.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that's the definition of building a brand, right? When someone has an expectation of you, I feel that is the brand you've created. That expectation, in my head, that's a brand. People really like muddle this. They think like getting Ranbir Kapoor to dance on TV is probably a brand, and that's good awareness. And obviously, it does help build some form of trust. But the brand is key. When I go to this place, or what to expect of this place or this company. So, for example, just going with that Shiv Sagar thing, I think their brand is great pav bhaji, for example, and I think that they deliver. That's my expectation of them, and they deliver fast and good tasting
and consistent.
Absolutely consistency in that. Consistency is what builds that expectation.
Yeah.
But their brand isn't healthy food, and I'll never expect it to be healthy. Or you get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to bash any business. I think they're all awesome businesses.
Yeah. So I guess keep it simple and keep delivering what you had promised should be one of the mantras that brands like us at least should follow.
Yeah.
For you, how do you see yourself, moving from where you are to probably the next set of or the next phase of your journey? I mean, are you adopting to more things, categories?
Do you mean personally or business?
First business and then personally?
Yeah, sure. I think what will always stay constant with us is we'll always be the home of pop culture, because I don't even know if that's good business decision. It doesn't matter. That's who we are, and that's what we want to create, very simply. But the way we've created the brand is that we have a lot of flexibility on the categories we can sell. So it's the sold store, right? And that's, if we launch, let's say, shower gels, next time we put them in our stores, people won't think, what's wrong with these people? Why are they doing this? So I feel like we have a lot of elasticity on categories, and we can also apply a lot of IPs on it. But what will start changing is we are doing a lot of in-house design, which is very India specific. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. The other few growth levers that we have is we're going to go global. I think a lot of Indian brands don't go global. I can't think of any apparel brand really that's globally successful. Ethnic wear brands can be, but is because a lot of Indian brands try to create a copycat of something that has happened in the West. But the Soul Store, I feel, is truly unique. Now, you may say that there are a lot of Western brands selling pop culture merch, but they sell it in a way which is just like, it's too intense for the average fan. You are not going to wear a Harry Potter cloak, but we will make you have a more subtle version of a jacket maybe, or something like that. And I think we are truly, that uniqueness allows us to be successful quite globally. That would be our next leg. And last leg would be that we've created a team and a process which is very quality and efficiently driven. And I want to be a little adventurous and feel that this machine that we've created of people, me included as part of that machine, can start other brands and businesses and apply the same fundamentals of good product, good quality, sensible pricing, brand creation, etc.
So that's really very heartening to know. And it's in my genes, or it's in our genes, is kind of
no pun intended.
Pun intended rather. Is our effort to kind of bring India's finest on the platform and celebrate India's finest. So I feel that the fact that you are thinking of going overseas is a very, very welcome and a great step.
Yeah, it's not just a
celebrate.
thought. The store, we have a few stores under fit out in
Okay.
one Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah.
It's a very, very relevant business for anywhere in the world. So
Yeah.
I really wish you the best.
Thank you
And
so
I'm
much.
sure you're kind of the first original retail brand from India in this segment to kind of move overseas. It's a huge compliment to you and to the effort that your team has made.
Well, thank
So,
you. I
congrats.
think that's always been the dream, right? Like we always want to, like, and that's why we make in India very specifically. Like you asked me that question. Uh, it's my, as I said, it's my form of patriotism that we will try to create here. We will fight the ecosystem or try and change the ecosystem to be of international global standards, and then hopefully go and take on global companies.
Vedang, you started as a online only brand.
Yeah.
What prompted your move into doing offline?
Two parts, right? Like, look, I'm not that intelligent, like, or like strategic. I feel like one, that's where the customer is. We should be offline. Everyone's offline. You're offline. And second was, we don't want to be dependent on one channel. I think it's just like these two very basic things, and that one channel for awareness. So we started looking at billboards. Ka cost in Bandra, and then we realized that billboards are really expensive, almost as expensive as the store rent.
Yeah.
And then we thought that a store is a permanent billboard, so let's just start a store, and that's how and it worked well because. And I used to think it worked well because we're so good with our algorithms and our inventory management, but the simple answer is just PMF. And I'm guessing your journey has been the opposite, right? Like you'll probably were offline and you moved online.
Yeah. Similar thing. We need to be where the customers are.
Yeah.
And but I'm sure very smart people would have told you don't get into retail.
They are, yeah. Look, I think everyone told me not to get into retail until everyone told me to get into retail.
Okay.
And I feel like I always get scared of, like, even from my perspective, like, because I am becoming more industry person than what I was initially. So that does form a lot of biases, right? Because you do see certain things work in a certain way. So I sometimes do wonder that what am I missing because I don't have a fresh perspective anymore.
So this fact that you are now moving into merchandise, which is rather than fandom stuff,
Yeah.
is it to kind of also balance or mitigate your business risks, or it's a very natural evolution into it?
See, look, I know business risk does get mitigated because, you never want to be dependent, but that's not the reason. I wish I was like that. I was, as I said, strategic thinking. The main reason is because people would buy, say, 5 Batman t-shirts and 3 Batman joggers. Let's assume you're a Batman fan, but what more? You love the brand, you love the quality of the product, and you want to, you want something simpler, something different, and that's why we give you that option. How do you look at category expansion?
How do I look at? So I think effort needs to be done on the brand. And as you said, that then the brand allows so many things to happen. So currently, Spykar's into luggage, Spykar's doing innerwear, perfumes, fragrances. So I think if you can create the mother brand in such a manner which can accommodate a lot more. I remember we started our journey as Spykar jeans, and then we took the jeans out.
Yes, it was Spykar jeans.
Yeah.
I forgot about
So
that.
now it's only Spykar. It's only because so we always played the brand card much bigger than anything else. Primarily because we felt that we should be able to kind of serve our consumers beyond jeans as well. So the fact is that we moved from doing retailing from our mom and pop stores to our own stores.
Yeah.
And that kind of was a compulsion for us to move into many other categories. And just the name jeans would have probably limited us in some ways. And we felt that the horizons can be broadened. And so we moved the jeans out, very similar to what and how you have been thinking on your business as well.
Can I ask you, what were the initial, like, What do you prefer? General trade business, or do you prefer your your own store business? Any advantages,
I
disadvantages
think
you
both
see?
of them have advantages.
Yeah.
I will not say any of them have any disadvantage, because they both are very different in the way they serve and to whom they serve. So I think my GT business is very critical to Spykar, because it allows Spykar to be relevant and to penetrate nearly available over in more than 500 towns of India.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
and if I see my own retail,
Yeah.
my retail is in over 140 cities. So there are 360 more towns who have experienced Spykar, right? And that allows even your own retail to move into those towns at some point of time, because there is a bit of familiarity with the brand. So I think the penetration, the opportunity to talk to more people, to get your brand across to many more wardrobes, is something which is presented very well by the GT. I also feel GT is very ruthless and very blunt in its feedback, because general trade, they are immediate in their responses as far as the product is concerned,
I was just
quality
going
is
to ask you,
concerned.
how do you get feedback from general trade? Like, you don't know if a customer, like in your own store, you know why customers buy and don't buy. You get that feedback through, right? You know what's selling, not selling.
So when it's our own stores, you still have one layer of store staff,
Yeah.
and in the GT, that layer is normally the owner himself of the store. So the intellect that the owner brings on table and the store staff brings on table is a little different. And because the GT is investing his money into the purchase of
Yeah.
your products, it's a lot more informed feedback which comes from a GT. Yes, it comes from a perspective of a very local geography,
Yeah.
but if you can extrapolate that and kind of mm, accumulate a lot more feedbacks, and then kind of create a general perception about certain styles or products or trends, uh, the GT feedback is a lot more sharper and more ruthless. So
What do you mean by ruthless? Like, they're more honest?
they are more honest. स्टोर स्टाफ कभी अच्छा लगने के लिए बोल देते हैं, कभी इतना इन्फॉर्म नहीं रहता है, कभी दे फील दैट sometimes that escapism also. Numbers don't lie, but numbers also don't tell you everything.
Doesn't
So, and that's why, I mean, we feel that there is also a great advantage of our own retail stores, because you can really showcase the entire brand in its strength,
Yeah.
which in a GT will never happen, because they'll buy you for what you're good at, or probably what they're missing in their shelves. So from that perspective, I don't think there's either or. I think you should be available as many places as possible. Yeah, and I wouldn't give up on my GT for anything in this world.
I am not sure of that answer. You should be available at as many places as possible. I do agree that that doesn't mean I'm saying no to GT, but I feel like sometimes where you're seen is maybe not the best thing. For example, Rolex won't want its ad on a Panwala's Tapri, right? Like, that's all. That's my only point.
I think everybody has its own poison, and the way they want to kind of look at life and businesses are very different. So,
Yeah.
and again, that's the best part of doing a brand, right? It's very subjective, and
Super subjective.
normally the founders' aspirations or the way they look at their businesses are so different, and so I don't think there's a right or wrong over there. It's probably each one's own logic.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Look, if there was one way to make a business or a brand, I think the people will just create a book and everyone can read it and do it.
True.
I think and that's the beauty of it, right? There is no one way. Everyone can add their own flavor. Yeah, and I don't know how much. Effect I have on the brand versus the team, because the brand is the design team, the marketing team, the creative, visual communication team, etc. All of them together, I think, make the brand. So I don't even know if you and I are as much in control of the brand as what we think. I think whatever seeds we've sown are now we have to just reap a lot of them. And obviously you can make changes, but
A very profound statement. I mean, one has to think around it though.
yeah.
Is there anything in hindsight which you wanted to do, could have done better, or probably something that you would like to tell our audiences, because I'm sure the whole idea of doing this is to encourage uh, Indians to really go out and do a lot more, and in our own small ways we are doing that. But is there anything that you would probably want to kind of rewrite?
I'm sure every person who runs any business or does any job or whatever, everyone wants to rewrite some stuff which you thought you could do better. It won't make you who you are though. Like I didn't understand, for example, that we should hire faster. Packing our own orders, cleaning the office, etc., which is fine. But it also takes away time from something which else you could have done, which maybe packing orders, for example, is something which can be, there's no uniqueness I bring to that aspect, right? Like it can just be done by other people. So I feel like some of these like very basic things I wish I was just faster with. Maybe the business would have been in a different direction. I think similarly, I do wish I understood the product more earlier on versus now. A lot of vendors cheated us in the beginning because we didn't even know what's what. But obviously now, luckily, like it's just not my expertise, but a lot of industrial folks that help us.
So this is one learning that I have, is that there are many times when your experience and your learnings become a baggage.
100%.
And I feel that a lot of times you need to just do and make mistakes for it to really make any sense out of your business. I mean, you would have fallen short of doing anything had you heard all the right people giving right advices, right?
Yeah, I think I firstly, I have also reached where I am because of a lot of people giving advice. But I try not to fall into the trap of knowing what I know, is because I have a lot of humility to understand that the world's changing too fast. And what was true yesterday is not even true tomorrow,
True.
At least I try to. I had this one thought when someone said they're self-aware. I realized that everyone would think they're self-aware because even if you're not self-aware, you're going to think you're self-aware. So I don't know the answer of whether I actually do question myself a lot. But I try and do it at least in my personal capacity. The other part, I think when you say like industry baggage, I feel like our industry is very archaic. If you go to a lot of manufacturers, you go to probably a lot of people in GT, they'll just be like, ye to aise hi hota hai. Without even questioning a lot of things, right? And I feel like everything from like timelines of how long it takes to manufacture, or these sneakers I'm wearing, where the first time we went to people, they were like, ye to China mein hi banega. And it takes so much to like make them unlearn, like, listen, let's give it a try. It's okay if it takes time. And now I think in a way it's good, but the ecosystem that we created for the sneakers, now other people are kind of piggybacking on that. And yeah, other brands are also now reaping those rewards.
No, that's good. I mean, and this generation especially is a generation which is questioning everything which is status quo.
Yeah, I think, everyone thinks that if we went, say, 4 generations back, they would say that the third generation is just questioning everything that it is. And obviously the rate of questioning is getting higher, but everyone, I think, always thinks that this new generation is crazy.
Yeah, I guess this is a nudge which is needed for India to really awaken and move much more quicker than what it is moving today.
Tons of nudges. This is one of them.
Yeah.
How have just consumer buying changed over these 30 years, how has even the experience of running stores changed over these 30 years, or designing? Very few people can give this answer, and like that's a pretty...
So designing is less intuitive now. I feel that we're trying our best to kind of keep the blend of intuition, gut versus data at the right kind of balance. But more and more, we are forced to move towards more data-led decision making. And I feel on designing, I feel intuition has worked well for Spykar, because there is as much as probably what data can throw at you.
Yeah.
And especially when it's designing, it's about what's going to happen tomorrow as well. So, yeah, I mean, we have tried to kind of get the best blend in place. But earlier, it used to be only intuition. And a lot of businesses were built purely on intuition. And so there was a lot of there was a lot of individuality in every business, because the person running it or thinking about it was so different. Uh, that's kind of changed in some ways. Consumers, I think, have changed dramatically. I feel the amount of information that customers have in India across the country is so much more and is so much even. So in terms of stratas or levels of information, I think there has been a very democratic shift on that front. I mean,
Yeah.
even a small town guy sees or knows exactly what probably a big town guy knows. And so from that perspective, apart from the cultural nuances, which kind of allow trends to move probably at a faster pace or slower pace in a small town versus a large town, awareness is the same. And so people know what probably the world is doing. But having said that, they are still probably not wanting to move into it, which is a very, very individual decision. And that has a lot to do with some cultural background also.
Yeah.
Right? And which is fine, because that's what, we are so different in that sense. And the customer's expectation from the brand is a lot more now. I mean, when we started off, we said that सबसे अच्छा क्वालिटी हमारा है, बट अब तो क्वालिटी गिवन है. अभी कंपटीशन इतना ज़्यादा है दैट यू कांट से मेरा अच्छा क्वालिटी है. दैट्स लाइक one of the fundamentals. I mean, you really can't talk about it. There's so much more that you need to do to entice a customer, to keep the customer with you. And that whole effort to kind of continuously cajole the customer is much more.
Do you think that quality is now just hygiene, or that everyone says I have good quality and that's why people don't want to hear it?
So in the last 3-4 years, actually, I've seen quality not becoming important at all.
Yes. So I don't think quality is hygiene. Actually.
It's not.
I
For
think
us,
it's
it was
just- yes.
for brands like us, legacy brands. I would say brands who are talking to a particular set of customers.
Yeah.
But wherever we are, I mean, today the audiences also are forcing people to kind of let go quality in favor of trend and price.
Yeah, and I think that in a way, look, let's see whether dust settles. But that's exactly what our internal pitch to ourselves is. Like, we're very purposefully designed products. We are not fast fashion. This is not. We don't create one-time wears.
Absolutely.
But maybe we are wrong. Maybe that's not what the consumer wants.
No, I don't think you're wrong, because I think in the time frame that you've done well and you created a brand yourself, a lot of other people have also done the same, and all of them are based on certain, attributes, or they have very different propositions. Like you are just saying this was your proposition. For somebody else, the proposition was cost or the price. And hence you can't really build in so much quality in the price that you offered. So I guess customers are fine with it today. But till when would they be okay? What age group will be okay with that? And that's kind of changing now. So when you ask me, the customers are changing. Yes. Earlier, one rule applied to a much bigger age group, a more broader age group. Now, there are segments within the age group, and each of them have their own needs and wants out of brands or probably products. So I think that is something which has really changed. And as brands, we need to pick up what kind of audience you want to talk to and what is it that they would appreciate, and then bring it to them. One size fits all, I don't think is anymore a kind of
seems like now a bug, not a feature. One size fits all.
Exactly.
One more thing, like, do you think people are now spending more and I don't mean like is there more money. I think are they spending more percentage of their money on clothes and other consumer stuff?
I think they're spending less on clothes
Yeah.
because there are many more avenues to kind of entertain yourself. There are many areas which kind of compulsorily take away some money out of you.
Yeah.
So, small things like OTT also. I mean, it's not, I mean, one OTT subscription is not too much. But when I
Yeah.
put all of them together, it's a decent amount, right? Monies have moved away from clothing only to a lot more. F&B is large.
I think also social signaling has changed from just clothing, which
Yeah.
should probably be just clothes, cars, house, maybe.
It could be so much more. Yeah, absolutely. So the markers are different now, and I guess people have. But at the same time, the basket has grown for us as
Oh,
brands.
for sure.
I mean, India. Thankfully we are in India, and
Yeah.
we shouldn't be short of customers ever.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, there's so
Yeah.
much anybody can do, and still there'll be so much more for more people. So
Yeah.
I guess we're lucky in that sense that the demographics really support us.
If I had to say, like, such a tough question I'm going to ask you, in the 30 years, what has been the one thing that has really surprised you while you were like learning your business? And what has been probably the hardest thing to do while you were running your business?
Hardest thing is taking yourself out of the whole equation when you decide what you want to do as far as your collection is concerned.
Yeah.
Because as people we have changed from what we were to what we are now, and for me the audiences have to be the same. I really can't let the audiences grow like I have grown. You have to kind of figure out who is your set of audiences, and so that part of you moving out of the whole equation has been very difficult, but I've succeeded myself in doing that.
People underestimate how tough it is to remove a personal bias, because very often you haven't even removed it when you've thought you have.
Yeah. So I have forcibly evicted myself from that on the table itself. So that's probably my way of saying that let me remove this bias of mine. What has surprised me is that we see things very up close, and sometimes we miss seeing a bigger picture or things happening around you. Sometimes I've underestimated the power of the brand Spykar, because
Very interesting.
When I started off, I remember I used to own a brand called Rags. It was a jeanswear business, and there was a very astute retailer called Second Chance, and one of the most honest and amazing retailers I've ever met. I took a lot of effort to put Rags into Second Chance, and we started selling extremely well. And then I started Spykar. And then I went to Rafiq Bhai again and I said, "Aap Spykar bhi rakhiye." His store was very small, so he would have had to replace Rags with Spykar. He didn't allow me to enter the store for nearly 18 months, and he was probably my best retailer. So I think how strong Rags was at that point of time, today how strong Spykar is, when I see it, I'm so on the defensive, because we started with very, very meager resources, and always there was a fight for us, especially because we were a brand from India, and we were always competing with the international brands. So आप इतना क्यों प्राइस चार्ज कर रहे हो जब कोई और इतने में दे रहा है? तुम तो इंडियन ब्रांड हो, तुमको सस्ता होना चाहिए. रिटेलर बोलता है तुम्हारे मार्जिन उनसे ज़्यादा होने चाहिए क्योंकि तुम इंडियन ब्रांड हो. तो always you had to fight with this.
Yeah.
And so by default the second nature became very defensive. But things were changing around us, and when you talk to people and customers and also trade partners, that's when you realize that as a brand you've grown so much in stature that there are many things that were given for you and which you thought is not true, is actually true. So that sometimes surprises you very pleasantly.
So it just seems like you didn't come from too much money, right?
Never. So
Yeah. I think people who don't and have gotten success, or maybe just you and me, I don't know. There's a sense of imposter syndrome at all points on things you create. Like you always feel, and Indian brands are no different, right? Like I think you always feel like, okay, matlab, I'm just Soul Store, but obviously I'm not Uniqlo, and Uniqlo can do this, but obviously a customer won't expect Soul Store to do this. I think that imposter syndrome at least always happens both on the brand front, because I think it happens a lot on the personal front.
but I'm very sure the customer doesn't think like that. And that's something which we need to kind of address ourselves on.
Yeah.
And we need to train ourselves as founders or business owners that customer has a very different view of you. And you need to keep checking on that as to where that is moving.
And it's one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, true. So Vedang, we have some nice, quick, juicy questions, and I want answers to be as much. Okay. So, which is your favorite franchise?
DC, Superman.
An unexpected hit?
Unexpected hit. Well, it was unexpected to me, but the anime culture in our country is unreal. It's very low key, but it's widespread.
The following is very strong.
Very strong.
One franchise you want, but you don't have.
I don't. Shit, I'm going to sound arrogant. We have anything and everything.
Okay, that's nice. If not the Soul Store, then what would it have been?
Physicist.
Most memorable moment in your journey?
So, throughout the journey, like we weren't very well off. And I remember we had to sell off like we had a car when we started the Soul Store, but we didn't have a car a few months or a year later because we had to sell it to run the house. So when I could buy a car again, maybe about 4 or 5 years later, I think that was pretty memorable. Because it just feels like at least all the sacrifices we made, we've come at least back to where it was.
The most Gen Z thing that you have done to keep up with the market?
I started watching a lot of the anime. And I, when I was a kid, like I used to watch like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, which was very different. But now it's so deep, and yeah, I don't get it. I do watch it like homework.
IPO or keep it private?
I'm gonna have to IPO.
Okay,
it's nice. A promise I've made, so I have to do it. It's also, I think, at some point it's going to be good for the business. It's cheaper access to capital. It also helps probably in institutionalizing what you've created, maybe forces you to do it at least.
Super.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vedang, so much. It was a very, very good ride.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, I learned a lot, talking to you.
It was mutual for sure.
Yeah.